Broadcasting from the business capital of the world, this is the Podcast Business News Network.
I want you to know that all CBD is not created equally. There's different potency, different quality, and it'll work very differently for you depending on what you choose. So why not choose the best? I'm talking about something that's hydroponically grown, and that's what you find at the Purple Nugget, also known as the pnug.com. Jake is the man behind it all, and the guy is out in the field right now. He's literally growing with a brand new building. Welcome, Jake. Tell us about this building that you get right now.
So that's a new extension that we just did. So for this year, we're just kind of building. I hope you can kind of see it.
Yeah, absolutely.
I don't think I'll probably lose service if I went over there, but that's a new extension. That's just like the new part that we're doing now. We hope to have that finished probably by August. All we're going to do is a little bit left on the inside and then the siding on it. But yeah, we're pretty excited about all that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We can totally see that structure. And, you know, for the Purple Nugget, your company and the hydroponically grown CBD, that's where you're growing inside there?
Yep. That's where everything is growing right there.
Wow.
Yep. It's kind of that's 24 by 24. I mean, we don't really need that much space. So yeah, that's where we're growing everything. It's just kind of like where we're doing all the cloning, and then also it's going to be the new flower room too. So
yeah. Tell me about that. You mentioned it briefly a couple of times before when we talked. When you're growing the plant, which is essential for a good grow for good quality CBD, when you want to reproduce, what do you take from the plant? Now, it's not the seed, right?
Nope. So what we do is actually clones, and I've got actually the ones that we've been working on ourselves here coming in quite nice. So anyway, what you're talking about is like how you actually take the clippings of it. So the clones, you got to make sure that they're in veg up stage. So the 3 stages of the plants is going to go from a seeding to veg to flower. Right now, they're definitely in the beginning of the veg stage. And at this stage, what you want to look for is, as you see, the families are definitely opening up, which is absorbing all that beautiful light that we're putting on it right now, which is making all the beautiful photosynthesis happen, allowing those roots to really grow deep, making the plant just ready to start getting as big and beautiful as it can. During that stage, like I said, is where you want to go a little bit bigger than this. You don't want, this is probably still a little bit too small, but as these nodes grow out more, you're going to get more branches out. But you can use this as an example, because what you'd want to do is cut it like right here. And you take just a little clipping off of that, right where you start seeing it open up. You take that clipping, you cut it at a nice 45-degree angle. You put it in a cloning solution, and then you would put it in your medium. Some people would use a rock wool to kind of start it off. I have a nice cocoa coir that I use professionally that I might cut myself. But yeah, that's where you would take the cuttings at. This one, I guess you can kind of see the beginning of it here. So if you see right here where it's starting to grow, you see what I'm pointing at?
Yep, totally clear.
That's going to get bigger. It's going to get about as big as this, and that's where you take your cutting from. You probably want it to be around 2 inches. This is a node, like where you go down and like the leaves split out. That's a node, and then it goes down and splits out again. That's another node. So you'd probably want about 3 nodes in before you start taking your clones.
So Jake, when you cut that, and that's what you grow other plants from?
Yep, absolutely. Wow. Yeah, so it's kind of called like the mother plants. You'd find one that you kind of grow throughout all the stages, and you take clones like what I did in the beginning was with all the varieties that we grow. So I'm growing them through the veg stage. In the very beginning, I took clones from every single row of them, and then I just labeled that row. And then as they grew through the flower, I specifically started dialing in on that one plant that really just looked like bigger and better than all the others. And because I had that logged in the cloning room, I knew which row I cloned that from. So then all my plants started coming off that one plant. And as you start doing that over the harvests, you're going to see all your flowers are going to start looking a lot more alike. And they're just going to keep being that dominant plant, a dominant female. And that's what we do. It's just it's just a good way to make sure that you don't have any males and that you maintain the potency that you're kind of going for.
It's amazing that we're starting basically in the garden here and talking about CBD, where so many other people involved in CBD will be more focusing on the product, and that's all good. But it's not good unless you're starting out with a high quality plant, the right amount of oil. And again, we always talk about the lab results. If you ever question or wonder about your CBD and the quality and the potency, ask for the lab results. Jake has them.
That's right.
Very important.
You can read on the website. It's in the Q&A. And I think all of our COAs are updated. I think at least every harvest for sure. We have to do it. So.
And that one plant right there is only going to produce for us in terms of CBD if it's like 6 or 7 feet tall, right?
Yeah, well, 6 or 7 feet tall. So we kind of get. I'm about 5'5". I usually get it, a couple inches taller than me. That's usually what it goes for. So that's usually what I like. Yeah, usually from there we'll probably produce usually about a pound of flour. That's on average. I definitely can get more. There's times where I can get less. It just kind of depends on what could happen. But about a pound, and then with that pound, we get, I think we it's like 150 grams on the high end of oil. So it really does the effectiveness of just by running it hydroponically just outdoes soil. As far as I'm going to do soil this year, I want to see where I can get with it. Like I said, we're kind of opening up our channels. I know we're doing a lot more stuff with pets this year too, and we're just opening up our, as many channels as we can right now because people are noticing how well we can grow our CBD. But by focusing on the nutrients and even by putting it outside, what we want to do is start running probably, I'm going to say, 12-inch PVC pipe. And then what we're going to do is actually just run it down and cut holes in it and then actually do hydroponically outside in the PVC. It's kind of like an idea that we're running right now to see how we're going to see how well it goes this year. Because there's a lot of other things that build like growing outdoors. Like with insects and whatnot, people have to use pesticides, whatever, to keep it off. Right now, we use an air filtration system so that we have absolutely no insects inside of our grow rooms. So we get to avoid pesticides altogether. And that's just, if you start growing outdoors, there's going to be unknowns. And luckily, by living next to Lake Michigan, we do have the lake effect. So we have a real windy area. Right now, it's actually pretty calm, which is nice that we're outside. But typically that's something you want to look for. If there is somebody that's going to be out there growing, that's kind of what I want this podcast to, obviously be about too, is I look for a windy spot. So if you have a nice open field like you see behind here, as the wind picks up, it really does help keep the insects away. They just obviously can't live in a windy area. So air circulation is a good key.
You started growing recently outside. What do you do about insects if you're growing outside?
This is my first year growing outside, so we'll see. Honestly, so I have my neighbor. He grows. Obviously, there's a bunch of farmland over here, so I think he's growing lima beans this year, and he doesn't really have a problem with insects. I mean, I don't know what they do exactly for pesticides, but with my section of land, it won't be touched by any of that. So we're just going to kind of see how it affects everything. Like I said, it's kind of stepping into a little bit of an unknown, but I'm not scared to take you there with me, Steve.
Yeah. I find it exciting, and I'm totally intrigued by this because I've had products CBD before we met. I told you I tried a CBD, couple of products, and they were okay. Till I tried yours. It
sure.
A huge difference. I tried the capsules recently for sleep, and that made a big difference.
Okay.
And I learned exactly what you said. They kicked in way fast as opposed to taking a gummy, which I want to say could have taken anywhere between like almost an hour to maybe an hour and a half. To capsules, I want to say it was like 40 minutes. How soon it kicked in. Yeah, I felt, just, okay, we're going to sleep soon. It's a great feeling.
So you took them in the evening then before you went to sleep?
That's correct. Yeah.
Okay, sure. I know CBD definitely affects like everybody a little bit differently. So like I always tell everyone, like, take it the first time, see how it kind of makes you feel, react to it, so that's good.
And it's funny because whenever I talk to people about CBD who, know a little bit, but not really totally plugged in, and that's why we're talking here. When it's for sleep, a lot of people say, well, just take a melatonin. Just take a melatonin. Well, melatonin doesn't really work for me. And when it did, it didn't keep me asleep the entire night. I would wake up. It was a different feel taking CBD. Okay. It's just an awesome feeling when I'm just about to go to sleep. This feels good. And knowing that you're going to stay asleep. I think I woke up maybe once to go to the bathroom. That was it.
Well, that's good.
Yeah.
That's good. Yeah, I'm, I get used to the reaction. And, as far as for working for people, I know a lot of people have just been finding it that as far as for sleep regimen, I mean, I know it's like one of their number one go-tos right now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's funny because I shared with you last time we got together that I didn't know in the capsules, I've never seen a CBD capsule before, that
Oh,
the oil is in it. It's a
sure.
capsule with the oil. Had no idea. So it's almost like a tincture, under your tongue, except you're ingesting it.
Yep.
Is it the same oil that you would take in a tincture?
Nope, it's the vitamin E that we put in that one.
Okay, vitamin E in the capsule.
Yep, vitamin E, and then the CBD. And we just like the reason why we're having the oil is just we try to do it as on process as possible. What we do is once we process it off the oil, the flour itself, not only does it go through about 3 filtration process that I think we mentioned before, but it then goes through a 48-hour purge mode where it purges out anything, just as far as just keeping the oil as clean as possible. And then we also do a decarb on it. And on the decarb is the final kind of clean process where it's actually heated up to about 220 degrees for like 35 minutes. And what that does is kind of makes the CBD go from CBD inactive to CBD active.
Wow.
So yeah, there's a lot of process that goes. It's in that little bit of capsule. Then the machine that we use to do it, it's a state of the art. It's it's a little spendy, but I think it's worth it. Just because everybody's health is just our number one concern. But yeah, a lot of those capsules help. I think they do a wonderful job. So yeah, I'm glad they help you.
When we talk about the capsules, are they all CBD capsules the same where there's an oil inside of them?
Yep. Or not like everybody, other businesses. I don't know. I'm not sure. I've seen some with powder. And I know some have don't even have CBD in it. They have like a Delta 8 or a CBD Delta 10. And I kind of wanted to talk to you a little bit about that. I don't know if you guys are aware of that in New York. I don't know what the laws are over there, but in Wisconsin, one of the things, and I hope I'm not jumping off topic, so stop me if I am a little bit.
No, not at all. You know what? I'm glad we're going down that road because I want to learn more about 8 and 9.
Yeah. Well, so Delta 9 is a natural deterrent that comes off of THC. That's just called a Delta 9. That's just what it's called on chemical stands. But Delta 8 is a synthetically made drug that they use to spray on CBD flower. This is what's happening in Wisconsin right now. I know somehow I've even talked to our state Senate, so we're just kind of seeing like how this really happened. But in like 2013, there was a substance that was called sativa K9 space, and it was pretty much a synthetically made THC that they called exactly what I just named it. We had a governor, Scott Walker, that banned it because kids are getting highly addicted to it, and it was really hurting them. This is just another way of people trying to, make that THC high happen. So they're trying to synthetically make that happen. And in that process, they made this stuff that they called sativa, K12, and all this, like back in 2013 or something. And our Scott Walker banned it, but when they legalized CBD, somehow, I don't know, through the legal wormholes, they attached that same exact synthetically made drug to a Delta 8 that they say is derivative out of CBD. Now, I'm going to tell you, you can look at any of my COAs. There is no Delta 8 in any CBD. I've even asked the people at Badger Labs why Delta 8 is even on the spectrum, because it says non-deterrent, and every time I have it tested, and they say that the only reason why it's on there is that it's because it could possibly show up on such a minimal spectrum that it just has to be tested for, but mine shows up as non-deterrent every time. So somehow there's like a legal loophole where they're like putting this, then people have come to me saying that they're going to make me all this money because they want us to take my CBD flower and they're going to spray Delta 8 on it, and then they're going to make cartridges out of it. And then I'm going to sell it to, all these smoke shops and everything. And I just refuse to do it because it's just bad for kids. It's bad for everyone. But that's what Delta 8 is. And you shouldn't be using it. So I personally, I've talked to a lot of people that feel the same. We're going to try to do something in Wisconsin to kind of get that to change a little bit. But yeah, I wouldn't.
Wow.
I know a lot. There's companies that are utilizing it, and I would stay away from it.
Interesting. And by the way, we're talking with Jake, who is with the Purple Nugget, hydroponically grown CBD, and you can find him at the P, as in purple, the P Nugget, or is it P Nug?
It's the PNUG. Yeah, it's the PNUG.com. We just thought it was fun to say. I know some people, I feel like every time you say like the PNUG and you're kind of careful with it, but it's just the PNUG, just a place you hang out at, you know?
Yeah. You have like a CBD bar. Hey, where you guys going? I'm going to the PNUG.
You know, that's great. You know, I think you wanted to say something, but that whole bar thing, keep that idea. We might do something fun next year. So, but say what you're going to say.
You didn't hear that, everybody. That just, you know.
Sure.
And here's my other crazy idea. Okay. I'm always thinking, what, you know, Froyo, right? Frozen yogurt places.
Yeah.
What if they, in an area where would be legal, what about if you had a self-serve CBD frozen yogurt or ice cream where you just go in, you serve yourself, and then you go for the toppings, and the toppings could be, you know, gummies or whatever. I don't know. I'm thinking too much.
That would be pretty intensive. But yeah, you know, I can see people having fun with that.
Right.
Our idea was so like the PNUG was going to, so like we have like a lot of breweries here in Wisconsin, and they're just getting really popular. And people, I think, are just really enjoying the whole learning process by sitting in a room with a glass or, you know, whatever between them, and on the other side is these, you know, people working on making their beer. It's just fun to learn about it and to see it. So what our idea was actually make a CBD tea bar. And then what we were going to do is have the plexiglass or whatever divider, and we could have some of the flower room and some of the veg room. It wouldn't be any of our main, you know, flower or veg, but it would be enough to like show people how it's like grown. And then that could actually be the CBD that could later be turned into the tea. And so we could like make our own like CBD tea brewery kind of. Kind of a fun idea, so people can kind of learn a little bit about the flower itself. Like they wouldn't be in the same room as it, obviously. Like there would be a glass separating them, but they could like, you know, see it.
Oh, we have a lot of breweries like that too. One of them is the Blue Point Brewery, which they went national a bunch of years ago. And you go there, and it's literally 5 minutes from where I am right now. They have the glass, and you can see some bottling. They do most of their bottling like upstate in New York. This is kind of just sort of for show, but they do like smaller batches there. But I just had another idea. Remember I talked about the ice cream idea? Okay, I'm just going to throw this my last idea out, and then you can shut me up. But do you have Cold Stone by you? You ever hear of that?
Oh yeah, Cold Stone. Is it the ice cream?
Yeah. So this would be, you call this Cold Stoned.
Cold Stone. You're hired, man. I mean, like every episode, you give me like at least 5 good ideas. I mean,
that's it. That's all I got. Drop the mic. Poof. Drop the plant. Boom.
Stone code, huh? Ice cream, that'd be fun.
Yeah, whatever. So let's go back to Delta 8 because I'm intrigued here. I've heard of it before. I just thought it was a different part of the plant that's growing, but you're telling me if you buy a Delta 8 product of which you don't sell, it's just something sprayed on the plant. That's what it is.
You look up the right questions in Google. Like I know some people try to say that's like there's Delta seeds. I've tried researching that, and they will not sell you the Delta seeds. So it's not, those companies really don't exist. And then not only that, but I mean, it's a synthetic spray. You can find tumblers, you can find the spray guns for it, you can find all the products that you need in order to spray Delta 8 on your flower. So I mean, those are the products that are out there that they're trying to sell you.
What exactly is being sprayed?
It's something that they synthetically make, and I mean, I don't want to say it's in somebody's basement, but I mean, it's synthetically on FDA approved. It's just a drug that they make that tries to mimic the THC high. I know they put it in gummies and they spray it on the flower. I've seen it all over the place. So I personally have never used it myself. And I hate to, I guess, everybody say you should try it before anything, but it's just something, a place I'm not willing to go.
Well, the whole point here is you're using CBD because it's natural. It's organic. It's just something that's grown. You took the oil from the plant, put it in a capsule, and now it helps so many people. When you
Right.
take medication, many times the medication is synthetically grown. So this is why many of us gravitate towards CBD just for that reason alone. But then to hear that something is sprayed, I had no idea. I thought it was just a different part of the plant. Delta 9. Okay, so is it the
Yeah.
same
Well,
situation?
sorry, I'm kind of breaking up. I hope I'm not interrupting you, but
Not at all.
I mean, there's a difference with being something FDA approved. I mean, at least it's got a process to where the quality is somewhat standard across the board. So I don't want to be like hating on I'm not saying every synthetic drug is good or every synthetic drug is bad, but I mean, this Delta 8 stuff is not, I mean, it's just not derivative to even be anything healthy. It's not shown case to anything to help you at one point or the other. I mean, you got meth in one hand, you got Delta 8 in the other. I don't want to compare one to the other, but you're pretty close when talking about how the process is done and the health benefits of it. I mean, it's just made there to get you high. It's not meant to like help you at one point or anything.
And same thing. Have you ever heard of Delta 50?
It's probably, I mean, I got to like look into it. So right now, we're just trying to combat one at a time, but I can look up Delta 50. I'll look it up to see if it's another synthetic, but as far as I'm concerned, the only real things is Delta CBD and Delta 9. Everything else is just trying to mimic what it is that we're trying to grow.
Delta 50, from my understanding, is allegedly 3 parts of the plant, but it is essentially THC. The effects that you get from it are that the high from THC. And it comes under the category of CBD, so you can get it anywhere. You can ship it anywhere. When we talk about the purple nugget, I just ran into you. We're walking into a store or whatever. I'm going to ask you what makes it different in terms of what you sell. Like, you're not Delta 8, you're not Delta 9. What would the purple nugget products be?
We're CBD. That's what we are. We're just pure CBD from the plants, extracted using the world's most trusted source. It's the Ethernet. You can look me up on my website to see how I extract it. We go by the ether source, so it's a great way to do it. And I mean, that's all we are. I mean, we're just a great CBD company.
Jake, I have to say, out of all the times that we've talked, what we're talking about right now could be one of the most important things, because there's so many Delta 8, Delta 9, Delta 10 products out there. I thought I knew a little bit here. I had no idea that it was synthetic spray going on the Delta 8 plant. So, that's a game changer right there. If you're okay with that, then be great with that. But like we said, the reason that, the purple nugget is so fantastic is it's coming straight from the plant.
I didn't mean to make the episode all about Delta 8, but that's a very important topic that should be covered. I mean, a lot of people are unaware of what it is. I mean, when I go into distributors and talk to them about it, I understand that they're trying to keep their lights on, and I'm just trying to be as honest as possible. And I'm not trying to throw hatred out there. I'm trying to throw knowledge out there, because that is what I see is lacking, is that people don't even know what they're putting inside their bodies. They're kind of almost being deceived and saying that this is actually naturally grown, and it's not. I mean, I thought the same thing until I had people calling my business saying, you think you're making money now? Wait until I get all your flour. I'm going to buy it. We're going to spray Delta 8 on it. They're going to make cartridges on it. We're going to label it the purple nugget because you're a natural veteran-owned business. It's going to look great. You're going to sell out. Told them to get the hell out the door. I'm not going to do that. So
wow.
I might have said something more ruder than that, but I tried to be as polite as possible. But it's like, why? I'm not going to do it. I mean, and the truth is that they need to legalize THC. Even when they do legalize THC, I'm never going to stop growing CBD. I've just helped so many people that at this point I can't stop. But if you're going to give these kids 3 feet of rope called Delta 8s, don't let them hang themselves with it. They don't know what that stuff is. I think Colorado, I think right now we've got some people looking into the laws in Colorado, because in Colorado, it's like they have THC legal, CBD legal, but Delta 8 is not legal, because they've already are aware and knowing exactly what it is.
Okay.
So I don't know what's going on or how they're loopholing themselves into it, but I mean, it's not good.
You know what? Just what you said about Colorado speaks volumes because THC is legal there, CBD is legal there, but Delta 8 isn't.
There's other states too. Look it up. Yeah. I mean, not you, anybody listening, look it up. Do your own research. Don't, just take my word for it.
Wow. I'm blown away because I see it all the time on websites and thinking that Delta 8 can be shipped anywhere. So let's say if you're in Wisconsin and somebody orders a Delta 8 product, you sell Delta 8, just hypothetically. Can you send it to somebody in Colorado?
I don't know. I don't know. I know the only reason why I can mail my CBD products is because I'm USDA approved, certified. And that's what I had to bring to the USPS, the UPS, in order to prove that I'm within business in order to mail my products. If these things are not, USDA certified, I don't know how they're getting around it. Wow. I really hope I'm not like red flagging the crap out of myself. I'm going to get a million questions about this stuff, but I don't know how they're doing it. But
or maybe you can't.
I'm not scared to say this though. I've seen people on Delta 8 that come to me and ask me for Delta 8, and I pull them aside and ask them and try to give them stuff for free and say, look, you're down this road, try the CBD to see if it makes you feel better tomorrow, because they're on that same Jonesy and they're on that same that unnatural feeling that I get where they're looking for something I don't have to sell them, obviously, but it's like, that's why I don't want to say are my clients, but I'm trying to help them, I think if you are utilizing Delta 8 and you're once again are seeing yourself scared and nervous because you don't know how to get off of it, utilize CBD. You can even call me. I'll give you some capsules, maybe we can start there. But I don't think Delta 8's a natural way people really want to live their life. And I don't know. Maybe I'm jumping topics here a little bit too much, but
not at all. I think that we went down that rabbit hole, and it was an important one to go down. And that you bring up another point in terms of the feeling and effect. Somebody may be buying some, Delta 8 gummies online, and maybe it helps a little bit here and there, but then they're also dealing with the other aspect of it. And that's the, maybe the anxious, the high kind of feeling that's coming from it. And then wondering, CBD doesn't work. Yeah, because you're taking the wrong thing. And I had no idea it was synthetic. We're just about out of time. I can't believe it. It's great.
Oh, sure. Yeah, I see that. Yeah, I mean, even at the addictive stance of it, I don't think you can get addicted to anything that's naturally made, to my knowledge.
Point taken. The PNUG, that's the website.com. The PNUG.
That's right.
The purple nugget. Jake is the guy. He's in the garden. He's growing it right there. And it's the real deal. There's no spray or anything synthetic. And if you're looking for a natural product that's going to change your life, make you feel a lot better, help you sleep, whatever it might be, it's all right there. Jake,
hey, check me out. Call me up. You can message me. I'm free. I'll definitely get back to you.
I'm going to call you. You're a grower. You're a grower geek. That's what you are.
I am a grower geek. Somebody called me a distributor the other week, and I had to correct them. I'm like, I'm not a distributor. I'm a grower.
Yeah.
Starts with.
Yep. Well, always great talking with you, Jake, and looking forward to getting again sometime soon, man.
Absolutely. Have a good time.
Are you looking for even more of the podcasts and hosts that you love? The Podcast Business News Network is proud to announce that you now have even more ways to listen live. Check out the MyTuner Radio, online radio box, and Simple Radio apps on iOS and Android, or find us online. Search for Business News Network on mytuner-radio.com, or search Podcast Business News Network on streama.com and onlineradiobox.com/US. Take your podcast on the go and don't miss a minute of the action.
Broadcasting from the business capital of the world, this is the Podcast Business News Network.
For nearly 2,000 severely injured veterans, everyday life has become filled with barriers.
Day-to-day simple tasks can become pretty daunting.
I have to carry my chair up 2 flights of steps or have somebody do it for me.
What scares me the most is just the falling.
When I'm struggling with my house, I think, to have that one great barrier just knocked down, it's crucial.
Home for Our Troops is a wonderful nonprofit that builds a
mortgage-free, fully adaptive, handicap-accessible house. And there's no catch.
It'll be our very first home. that we've ever owned.
This is a game changer.
This is where your life begins again.
We need you to join us in completing this important mission. Please visit hfotusa.org and help build homes and rebuild lives.
Because of you, everything's going to be okay.